Hi guys, Ronnie here. Today I had a bit of a rest day and I had a lot of things for my bikes to arrive, so basically I spent the whole day in the workshop. Luckily I didn't have too much work to do, so I was able to basically rebuild the crank configuration on all three of my bikes. And this is what I've come up with. The first thing I want to show you, when I arrived, this dog just somehow got into the yard. It's not mine and I don't know whose it is, but it's kind of cute. At least it's safe. It probably has an owner, but never mind that. The most important thing that I got today was a power meter for my cyclocross bike. So this is the old Quark D0 from my Madone with the compact BCD, so it fits the SRAM Force 1 chainrings. I have also mounted the crank models Agvita pedals on there, and I have to say I really like the look of it now. It starts to look like a proper race bike. My first cyclocross race is on the 8th of October, so I'm probably going to race this bike as well before my track arrives. One thing I have done for this bike is that I've cut a thick transparent sticker and put it on the cranks, because you tend to get quite a lot of float in with these off-road pedals, and this way my carbon cranks are protected from shoots, because I really hate to have those. So these should be running fine now. I really like the look of the small chaining of the Quark on it. It just somehow looks rather nice, and adding the pedals into there without the bulky Shimano ones, yeah, it does help quite a bit. It's also probably a bit lighter as well, but now I can finally train with my power meter data that I have anyway. So let's just check out my other bikes. Yeah, so it's quite tidy in the workshop right now. Yeah, here's the new Quark that I got. Actually, this is not the one itself. This is the same model, but it's for one of my customers. So it's a 130 BCD GXP 165mm Quark D0 power meter crank, which is different in what I have had until now, because the old ones are 170, this is just 165, and the bolt circle is not compact but the standard ratio, but I'll get to that a bit later on. So yeah, I also got a couple of spares and one very little nice detail for my upcoming cyclocross build. So I really just want to have everything in-house when the frame arrives, and this is a neat little detail that I found. It's made by Cyclocross, so it's the same company that make those super light, super expensive rim brakes. Well, this is a compression plug for carbon steel forks, and it's 30 grams lighter than regular ones. It's extremely nicely crafted from a super high-end aluminum. Even the bolt in there is hollow actually if you look into it, and yeah, it's super light. It weighs 9 grams and definitely looks the part, so it should look great on my Track Boom super bike that's coming up in October. Also got some bar tape. I'm going to need that for the new bike, 2 sets Lizard Skins camo bar tape. I really like this design, but I also got the brighter one. I will see which one I'm going to use. Then some black anodized cable end caps, just a nice little finishing touch. Also some Teflon inner liner for my Jaguar cables, the non-compression ones. So this is just a spare basically, and in case I need to do some customer bikes. Then Kogel ceramic bottom bracket, again for the track, a cyclocross bike. This is the GXP version, so it fits the Quark on there, and it also has the cross or off-road seals in there, so it should be it should last okay in dirty conditions in the winter. This is a Kogel BB86. I'm not going to use that in the KTM cross bike. This is for one of my customers for a Canyon time trial bike for triathlon. So a couple of spares right here, and then I also got a couple of finishing touches for the road bike and the time trial bike. So let's just get the road bike out. Yeah, so one problem I've been having with the Madone is that it has quite low quality screws here in the bar stem combo, and from all the sweat and washing I put it through, these screws started to corrode, so I ordered some black anodized titanium screws and changed them to those. They're a bit lighter, but most importantly they shouldn't corrode anytime soon, because they're anodized and titanium itself is quite resistant to corrosion. And as a bonus they're also a whole 3 grams lighter, so yeah, weight tuning upgrade, not really my kind of thing, but I've done that today. And this is the combination of the Quark and red crank that I've been talking about before. So the complete crank from this bike went on to the cyclocross bike, and I took of both the time trial bike crankset and the road crankset, the new one, and kind of mismatched them. So this is the old 170mm crank from the time trial bike with the new Quark D0 Spider with the standard bolt circle on there, so standard big chain rings for me now on the race bike. Why did I do this? I've been a long proponent of the smaller gears because I really like to spin up those climbs, but even with the 39 and 32 cassette on there, I have the equivalent gear of a 34-28, so that's still a very nice gear to spin up the climbs. And I found out in this season of racing, if I want to keep up with the very best climbers, which I'm able to now, luckily, I'm going too fast to use those very small gears like the 36, 32, so the larger chainrings and this one and this crankset should be a bit more efficient mechanically, and I also like the fact that it has a much smaller jump from the 2 rings, so I don't get that much of a change in gear ratio when I switch the front chain rings, and they're also less likely to drop because the shift is smaller. So I'm looking forward to using these. So this is a proper full-on pro level race bike, basically now maybe apart from the clinchy tires. And then coming to the time trial bike, I have, well actually I need a bit of light for this. Yeah, that's better. Yes, so the time trial bike. So as I mentioned earlier, I have a new ski setup coming up, but that hasn't arrived yet, unfortunately. So, and this time trial, this Saturday, I'm going to use this setup. I don't really want to change that anyway now. What I did change, however, was the crank length. So yeah, Quark powering on. This is the Quark that was on the bike before, but I have changed the crank arms from the new crank set that just arrived today to these very short 165mm cranks. And I've done that to basically open up my hip angle a bit, so my thighs don't come up that high, and it should be more comfortable for that aero position. But I'm yet to try that out. Hopefully I will be able to do that tomorrow. What I'm also going to need to test is the gearing, because the time trial I'm going to do is flat and very fast for the first 14 kilometers, and then it has a 4% average gradient, 12-kilometer climb, finishing on the top. So I will need to make sure that I have low enough gears for that climb. I've already checked on Strava, and it's not a slow climb. The climbing speeds on there are about 25 to 30 km per hour, so even with the big chainring I should be okay, but still I want to make sure. I will definitely change the cassette to a 32 on the back. This is 28 right now, but I have a 32. I slap it on there so I have a bit more range. And thanks to the suggestions from some of the viewers, I have removed my basically botched up bottle lowering mount, and I have replaced it with a Wolf with B-Rad 2. Well, this works pretty much the same, but it's a bit neater, but unfortunately it still doesn't extend quite as low as this point, which would be ideal, but nevertheless it works as intended. So yeah, one minor comment for the cassettes. I have really wanted to try out if this derailleur setup can take a 36 tooth cassette on the back, because that way I will be surely able to run the big 54 chainring in the front with those climbs, but unfortunately, yeah, I have the two cassettes on here now. Just some light again. Yes, so this is a 36 cassette, brand new. I took this off from the KTM. Unfortunately, this is just a 4-slum model, and it weighs twice as much, exactly twice as much as this red X-Dome 1132 cassette. So not really what I want in an uphill time trial. So if the gearing is not low enough in a 54-32, then I might put the front chainring back on to see how that goes, but again, I need to check that out in testing tomorrow. Okay, so these are the changes I have made today to my bikes. As you can see, I'm always tinkering with something, with also an aim to bring you some more content. But if you'd like to know more about my bikes, then you can of course check out more detailed videos about those. I think it's all for today. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.